Good afternoon, friends. Hello.
Afternoon.
Right, let's get everybody in and started, including myself.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. All right, let me get all the bots in the room.
Let's have some fun.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh, I'm looking. So, guys, you may hear a little noise in the background today. I have a fan on because my AC has decided to go to the next life. And quite hot and humid, even though it's a little cooler than it was yesterday. Quite hot and humid in my house. So everyone that I've sponsored in the company, sell a house because I need some residuals, and I'm going to be buying a new HVAC system. Apparently, God, America.
I had to do that for my house in Indiana last fall. That was like $10,000 that I wasn't expecting to spend.
Oh, get a home warranty.
I'm thinking 10 to 12,000, unless I do unless I pull that stuff, John. Good idea. So speaking of strategic ideas, we are here today, friends, because we want to be a little more strategic. I mean, Exit Strategy Realty has strategic strategy in its name, in its title. We want to be a little bit more strategic in the way we move. And there's opportunities for you to do business smarter. And what I mean by that is we've had the opportunity to do a couple different things we're going to cover today. We're going to be all over the map a little bit, but hopefully not too much. Lau wants to talk to you a little bit about really increasing your value proposition and how you do that. I want to talk to you because some of you brought it to us about how you can tap into the network of Exit Strategy Realty in terms of getting your listings out there. You may have noticed we have had, I wouldn't call it a pivot, but a refocus on if you're going to do a broker's open, tap into me, tap into us, and get it on the office calendar. Now, we can't do that for everybody every week. Not every property is going to be perfect for it. We're not going to flood you with, every day we're going to have a broker's open house because I don't necessarily love them always. But on a tough listing, on a difficult listing, on a special listing, like the listing that Kelly Ipshin is at right now in Highland Park, which I'd love to be at. I've already seen it. Some of you guys may be on your way there or already there. It's the perfect opportunity, just like with Stephanie Pettit-Gaines last night. She had a listing that was actually on the struggle bus that needed some help, and we did a broker's open. But to do a broker's open house and just throw it on the MLS, that's not the way to do it. Let me give you some extra steps. And what I recommend you do is you set up, so you got to think in advance. You got to set up a coaching session with me. This will be the ideal situation. Set up a coaching session with me and say, Nick, I want to do a broker's open house. When can we put it on the schedule for the office? So you can see what we did with Stephanie's. It got in the office calendar. And I'm actually going to go ahead and share my screen if you guys don't mind. This is being recorded for those of you that's. So yesterday, we had right on our office calendar a broker's open house. Give me one minute to get to that. You guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday we had a broker's open house at Stephanie's listing. I sent out a calendar invite. Some of you responded. We had a great time at that event last night. I'm going to post the pictures later today. I've been terrible about posting pictures in a timely manner lately. I've just been enjoying the moment, quite frankly, with you guys more than posting. We saw a couple Instagram stories last night. Stephanie hit out of the park at her broker open. But if you tap into the office, what we do is we put it on the calendar. We also then get you into MarketView Broker. Do you guys know what MarketView Broker is? It's part of your Project X tools. You don't have direct access to it, but I do. And in your coaching session with me, well, we go in and we pull up the numbers of the agents around your listing. So, for example, Shay, Shaughnessy, you have a listing coming up in what city?
Crete.
Crete, Illinois. Now, you all know
Yes.
I don't go to Crete very often. I've never sold a house in Crete, to be honest. I've been to Crete. I've stopped through Crete. Do they have a supercharger station for my Tesla? We don't know. We'll find out. But what we will know immediately is who is selling real estate in Crete or in the MLS area of Crete. So you can either search by city or by the MLS area. And I'm going to be able to then do what? Send you a list of every single agent that had a deal in Crete in the last 12 months. I'm going to be able to export that to you so that you can put it in your WiseAgent. And here's a real bonus tip. If you and I are both on our A game, I can actually download this to WiseAgent and send it to you through WiseAgent. But that's a next level thing. What I'd like you to be able to do, and I really want you guys to lean into your WiseAgent accounts, is that I will download this and make this spreadsheet super easy for you to just upload into WiseAgent, or WiseAgent can do it for you. But you then have their names, their email addresses, and their cell phone numbers. So you can do, oh my, a mass text to these people on your market hotline in addition to an email. But an email is a baseline. Get an email out to them and say, hey, I'm having a broker's open coming up. You can have Amanda do a graphic design. You can just use one of the flyers that's automatically generated through the expert marketing suite from EXIT. There's even some designs in WiseAgent. You can use Canva or you can use Amanda. But
Exit marketing. I need to check that out.
yeah, guys, there's marketing right within WiseAgent if you synced your WiseAgent account up to your MLS. There's huge resources for you. Tap into the resources you have right here at Exit that you're paying for or I'm paying for to get this information out. So with Stephanie yesterday, we had a wonderful brokers open house. It gave her sellers the opportunity to see that Exit is out and about. We showed up in force. We had a great time. We gave them some feedback. And one of our agents actually brought a buyer to the property during the broker open house. So that was a pretty freaking cool thing. Partner with a lender. We have John and Colleen on from our wonderful lending partnership, Direct Lending Solutions. You know, whoever you want to partner with on the loan side, Stephanie had little treats and bites out. It was cute. It was fun. The client was satisfied. It got visibility for the property. It should be on social media. I didn't post it myself, but I think Stephanie did. I hope some of you guys did last night. I will do it later today. It was a beautiful thing. So tap into your networks of us because I can help you. We can help you show up and show out for things like a broker open house or even a regular open house. But the broker open house strategy works if you work it. You just have to plan in advance. You can't, text me Tuesday night, say I want to do something Wednesday. That doesn't work. You've got to give this week or plus in advance. You've got to schedule time with me to get it on the office calendar, etc. But we have the bandwidth, guys. It's not the days of broker caravans, if you remember those. Some of you guys that are older, like me and Lyle, we may remember the broker tour, the caravans where you drove around together and did the caravans. We're not at that stage of the game, but we do have a critical mass of agents that can show up and show out in addition to the regular general broker community that you should be inviting to these broker opens if you so choose to do so on your listings that either are special or need special attention. So I've got some stuff in the chat here. Let me see. Hold on a second. Thank you, Mallory. Yes. Okay. And by the way, this MarketView Broker program I bought for not only Illinois, but also Northwest Indiana. So if you have a listing over there, I also have paid for that subscription over there through Project X. So we have this capability to do this deep dive into data. Also, in addition to this, another thing we wanted to bring up, John and Colleen, I had a conversation with them this morning. We really want you to go, speaking of sellers, and talk to your past clients. Talk to your past clients about how they're doing. Check in with them. I had a conversation with, I'm going to turn off my screen share for a second. I had a conversation with my friend Andrea the other day. She bought her condo through me in, I think, 2017, 2018. And she was saying that she had a little bit of extra money to put towards her mortgage. In other words, she wanted to figure out strategically, should she buy a rate down? Should she put more money towards the principal? How could she do that strategically? You have clients that may be doing better than they were when they bought their property. Check in on them. So I had to sit down with Andrea and went to dinner with her. I actually went over to her house for dinner. You guys may have seen that on my Instagram story. Great friend. We had a meal together. And guess what? I connected her with Colleen so that they can do a mortgage review. You know, she may not want to buy a new place, but is strategically there's something she can do to maybe adjust what's going on with her existing finances with her property. John, would you like to talk a little, elaborate maybe and clarify what I mean by talking about strategic strategy in terms of your mortgage?
Absolutely. And first of all, I know it's not as exciting with me on here than Colleen, but she had a noon appointment. So I apologize for her not being here. But no, we used to do that. And that's a great point, Nick. And again, it's relationships and it's staying in touch. We used to call a mortgage checkup. You know, people may have that money. They might want to do a principal reduction, but what it does, it keeps you excuse me, and the realtors in their face. And you never know when you reach out to them, oh shit, my son's buying a house. The last thing you want to hear is my son's buying a house. I totally forgot about you. But there's so many different mortgage options, especially now, as you guys know, the values have increased from 2017, 2016. Do a cash out refinance. I mean, people are paying college bills. The average credit card rate is 29%. So people, if they have the credit card debt, might not want to do a cash out refinance, but again, it's still it's keeping in their face. There's so many opportunities out there, and you nail it on the head. And you do it perfect, Nick. Just staying in contact with them and letting them they have partners.
A great mortgage check-in. So think about that. So we gave you some nuggets here. As an agent, if you've got a listing coming up that's special or a existing listing that's on the struggle bus, you've got some assets. Think about that. Another asset I want to bring to the table is AdWorks. AdWorks. Have you guys been using AdWorks on your listings?
I used it about 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Okay, let me show you guys how AdWorks works. John, anything else from you? I know you're a busy guy on the mortgage.
Oh no, not at all. I appreciate being on, man.
Absolutely. So, guys, John and Colleen, they're there to help you guys with your mortgage options out there. There's a lot going on in the market right now. Mortgage rates are terrible, but you know what? Having good trusted partners to help strategize is key. So, John, thank you for taking some time with us.
Greatly appreciate it, buddy.
Okay, so let's get into AdWorks, guys. I'm going to share my screen again because for your sellers, okay, maybe they're on the struggle bus and the listing isn't selling. Maybe you want to wow them on the way in about what you can do. If you're not using AdWorks, you are missing out. It is a great thing. So you go into the Exit Resource Center. I'm actually going to do a live demo for you guys. and you go into your properties and see where it says Partner AdWorks. And Stephanie and I did this on her listing that some of you guys were with me at on last night. Look at this. See all this, like somebody liked our ads. Now this, I haven't spent money with them in a while, but it's time again.
I'm not seeing your screen.
Stephanie, you're not seeing my screen?
No.
You guys seeing my screen? Because I am screen sharing.
I see
It
it.
says account summary.
I see it as well.
Stephanie, this is being recorded, so if there's maybe an issue on technology on your end, sorry.
I have to hop off for just a minute. I'll be right back. So Nick, continue with your stuff.
Okay, thank you. So this is how you would add value. Let's go ahead and create a new app. And so you've got the opportunity to promote a listing, and all of your listings, because it's synced up through Exit, they're already in there. And what it's going to do is it's going to put this listing on websites like CNN, ESPN, Fox News, you know, the gossip blogs, TMZ, all these crazy sites, all these digital places, the Washington Post, where you can't go and afford content, but this beautiful partnership with AdWords can, for like $60 for 2 weeks. And it will report to the consumer, to your seller, hey, this little bot is popping up with an ad for anybody that was searching for real estate in that zip code or that match that criteria of your listing. It will pop up with an ad with their listing all over all these different websites. I'm doing a terrible job of explaining it, so let me see if they've actually got like a flyer for us. By the way, there is a whole video on this I have for you. But so these are what the ads will look like. They'll pop up with your listing. So let's start a new campaign. So my listing address, 223 Center Street in Naperville. Is Mo on with us today?
He is.
There it is. There's my new listing. All right. So I have to promote this listing, right? So I'm going to go ahead and confirm it. I'm just not exactly sure why my listing shows up twice, but. And then once you confirm it, they're going to ask you for some details. And it's literally plug and play. You design your ad. I probably need a new headshot in there, right? LOL. And then you can have whatever your corner button you want. You can have like fun little information in there. The location of the property. What's special about the property. You can pick out which website you want it to go to. Don't worry about it. It's already done for you by Exit. It's going to go directly to the little website that, in case you didn't know, every listing has an automatic website generated for it by Exit, and the leads to that little website flow directly to you, not the office, to you and your CRM of choice, aka WiseAgent. So really smart stuff. So, and then your client gets a report of what that looks like. So let me share this screen again. I'm going to stop my screen share for 1 second. And I'm going to get you one of the AdWorks reports and show you what it looks like. Show my screen again. All right, so this one. So check this out. This listing was on I don't love that particular screen of it. There was on USA Today. Your ad design, 21,000 views. So this is what your consumer would get. Oh my gosh, it was on USA Today and all these other different websites. So you look like a superstar to your client. And then look at that. So there's the just listed. You can do it for, whatever you can change the banners on it. And then look at all the different hits you get. And the report goes to your clients daily. Daily. You can set it up to have to send an email to your clients and you every day or once a week. It's expensive. It's like $60 for 2 weeks. But if you're on the struggle bus, Stephanie, kind of helps them shut them up a little bit, makes them see that you're doing everything you possibly can because it's really getting it out there well beyond the natural reach. Print is dead, but digital is everywhere. And if people are looking online, yes, they're going to Zillow, but then they're going about the rest of their day. How about your ad popping up? So that's an option for you. And speaking of Zillow, you will want to be on with us next week at this same time, 12 o'clock noon, because not only do we have AdWorks for you, which they've got special discounts through EXIT, if you need to throw some money at your listing. If you need to throw some money at your listing, I've got another opportunity for you with Zillow Showcase. And we have an opportunity to get a discount on Zillow Showcase by buying in bulk. And I'm going to show you how Zillow Showcase works next Wednesday at noon. That is part of our bigger collaboration we're doing with Zillow. Obviously, we're in Zillow Broker Flex now. There's going to be opportunity for seller leads as well in Zillow. So you're going to want to understand what the Zillow tools are. There are some really huge things coming that, guys, quite frankly, no other exit office has. And there's very few offices in Chicago, brokerages in Chicagoland that even have some of these tools. So very exciting time to be here. Hope this was helpful. Do you guys have questions on what I just showed you?
The one question that came to my mind was, do we still have the 5 zip codes that came over into the Indiana area? Is that still valid?
5 zip codes that get you. Are you talking about as far as Broker Flex?
Yes.
Yeah. We're not on the Broker Flex conversation right now. Yes.
Good. Okay. It was in the back of my mind the last time we talked. It's like, okay, we got a bunch of zip codes out there. Let's get busy.
Yeah. So that actually, though, Dan, that's a good transition point to what's going on with Broker Flex. So I just had my 4th meeting with Zillow about the tools and everything that we have to do. Onboarding will be in July. All of July, and your leads will start August 1st. Get ready. So this is a very, very exciting time to be with us. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. We are looking at like a weekly training session with the Zillow team and with Bernadette's office, Bernadette Cole, who's our partner. We're technically part of an expansion team of her office. So that's going to be really huge for those of you that are going to be on that E team. And for those of you that are like new and are like, well, what's going on? Also make sure if you are not already on Prime Street, get on Prime Street because we're closing deals left and right with Prime Street. Op City's not accepting new agents in terms of new inexperienced agents anymore. They want experienced agents. They are closed to new brokerages. So to anybody trying to open a new brokerage. They're not even allowing new brokerage partners. They're actually shutting brokerage partners out. So Op City's kind of shutting the door a little bit, but the leads are rich with Op City. Kelly Ipshin, bringing her up again because she's a superstar. Yesterday, if you were at that NASBAR WCR panel that she was on, she was saying one of the best things she did for her business was op sitting, getting on op sitting. So if you're an experienced agent, we have op sitting. Talk to Laura Medina. If you're new, it's no longer easy to get into op sitting. Get Prime Street. What a blessing that we have Prime Street. One of the only brokers in Chicago that have Prime Street. Get those leads going. Get to close a couple of those so you'll have some transaction history to get into op sitting. But by the way, also please work your natural freaking database with all the training we talked to you about, loving on your database. And speaking of value propositions and database in general, I want Lyle to talk a little bit because Lyle wanted to bring up a little bit more about like how to increase your presence with your clients.
Can I ask one more question before we transition out to Lyle?
Absolutely.
Do I need a coaching session? Do I need a coaching session?
In terms of
For Crete?
so for your broker open in Crete, yes, you do.
Yes.
So guys,
Okay.
to schedule a coaching session with me, for anybody that doesn't know, go to teamlabor.com and click on schedule time with Nick and take a 30-minute.
Gotcha.
If that does not work for you, if you don't see a time, I love you guys. There is no excuse. I am quote unquote busy. Guys, I work nights, I work weekends, I'll wake up early. There is no excuse. I have no other marketable skills except coaching and growing with you. So I'm here for you. I will make a time work for you. We'll make a time up to get you on my schedule to get you to success. And some of you guys on here know that I'll just I'm like, go book a weird time and then we'll move it so the Zoom meeting link works. We will get you on the schedule. Shay, get in with me and let's get that Crete listing on the books so we can get some visibility for it.
Yep, I'm doing it now. Thank you.
All right, Lyle, take it away.
All right then. So we talk a lot. We spend a lot of time talking about what we need to do for our clients, like in terms of physical paperwork and compliance and things like that. But I want to talk a little bit about what we need to be for our clients. When I first started at Koenig and Stray, we had a program called Premier Service Certified, and we all had to take it within like 6 months of joining the company. It was actually a licensed product that was actually Quality Service Certified is what it was called in other places. But the basic premise of the entire program was based on 3 different things that you have to be for your clients. So if you're not recording this, I want you to pick up a pencil and a piece of scrap paper and write this down. The first one is that you need to be a trusted advisor for your clients. Because if your clients don't trust you, then you're not going to be able to help them. The second thing that you need to be is a skilled negotiator. You've got to be on top of your game, you've got to be creative, and you've got to figure out how to get the deal done. And the last one is one where a lot of agents fall down. You need to be an expert facilitator. That means that you're not just turning it over to the attorney and you're not and expecting that everything's going to go right. You know, yes, the attorney is going to make any changes to the contract, but you need to be actively involved in whatever's going on in your deal. And if you're not, it could fall apart. I can't tell you how many times I've pulled a deal out of the fire because I got involved with the other agent and we worked it out. So those are the 3 basic tenets for what you need to be as a real estate agent or as a realtor for your clients. So, in terms of a trusted advisor, they need to believe that you're always looking out for their best interests. And this also sort of links in with, our fiduciary duties, like duty of care, duties of accounting, things like that. They weave into this. So, you have to gain the confidence of your clients. And I know we've all had clients that didn't trust us, wouldn't take our advice. And sometimes they're not worth keeping because you know that it's just not going to work. I have said to my clients before when they were like super happy that they got the house, and I was like, yes, you got the house because you did what I told you to do, you know? Because, I think we've all had the experience. I had two of my best friends last year that lost three deals well, no, they lost two deals, pulled out of a new construction deal because it was just turning out to be too shady. And then on the fourth deal, they ended up paying $75,000 over asking, but they got what they wanted, you know? And they did it because they did it, and we were all learning at the time. The Lincoln Square market was constantly evolving back then, but one thing was true. There was very limited inventory and everything had multiple offers. So they trusted me to give them the advice to get the house that they wanted. That is imperative. They need to believe that you're working in their best interests always. Even if your bank, if they don't know that you may only have $5,000 in your bank account or $2,000 in your bank account. And they should never know that because everything that you're doing for them. The second tenet is you have to be a skilled negotiator. You have to be creative in putting deals together to beat out other people. That includes escalation clauses. It may include taking a property as is. It may include more attractive tax prorations. I was in a class with Lynn Edison, and she said, I see people winning in multiple offers because they're willing to prorate at 80% instead of prorating at 105 or 110 or 120%. So that saves the client money. I'm not saying that you should do that. I'm just saying that you need to be creative. And another part of being a skilled negotiator, and as most of you or many of you know, I'm a mediator for Illinois Realtors and helped launch the ethics mediation program there. So as part of being a skilled negotiator is working with your counterpart on the other side and being kind to them. Keep your emotions out of everything you do. If you get angry, your clients are going to get angry and the deal's going to go nowhere. You have to be calm, you have to be cool, you have to be the voice of reason, which goes back to number one, you have to be their trusted advisor. But number two, you have to be skilled enough as a trusted advisor to be able to put a deal together that's going to get them what they want. Another thing that I always tell people, I had a conversation with somebody just yesterday, is I always tell my clients if they don't get a property, I say, you know what? I've been in this business a long time. And if you didn't get the property that you wanted, that means there's a better property out there for you. I have never seen that not be true. In 23 years of real estate, I've never seen that not be true. And it does make them feel better. But getting back to your skill as a negotiator, you need to be able to put together the best deal that you can and the best deal that they can manage to get them what they want. And your skill in negotiating doesn't necessarily end when it goes into attorney review. Well, I'll give you an example from this week. I have a listing on Concord. The inspection came back with a lot of deferred maintenance items and a lot of mess. And the buyer wanted $20,000 price reduction because she's going to take out a construction loan now to do all the work that she wants to do. So my client was just like, oh, I don't want to lose this. Maybe we should just go ahead and take it. And I said, no, you know what? Let me see what I can do. Let me see how much more I can get for you. I got him $5,000 more. So he only had to drop the price 15,000 instead of 20. But it's because I asked, I didn't just cave. And I always promise my clients that I will get them every last $1,000 that I can if they're sellers, especially obviously with buyers. I'll tell them that I'll get the lowest price that I can, But another thing is being honest. I'll say, I will fight as hard as I can to get the best deal that I can for you, but I will also tell you when I can't go any farther, and it's up to you as to whether you want to continue. So that leads us into being, that actually leads us into very nicely into being an expert facilitator. Like I said, stay involved with your deals. Make sure you know what's going on in attorney review. Read the attorney review letters, and help your client understand them. I sat down yesterday at Paradise Park with my client and went over the attorney review letter line by line so that and just explained the whole thing to him because he hasn't sold a house or bought a house in 20 years. So he doesn't know anything about what's going on, but he does trust me. And because he trusted me, I got him an extra $5,000. But that, I'm talking back and forth to his attorney, like multiple times a day sometimes, just to make sure that we can that we're keeping everything together. So that is like those three things flow into each other. You have to be a trusted advisor, or you can't be a skilled negotiator for your clients, because if they don't trust you, they're not going to let you do your job. And then that, as I said, flows right into you have to facilitate the whole transaction. If something is about to blow up, you got to fix it. I have an attorney who said to me one time, Lyle, your deals are so hard always. And I said to him, that's because I won't give up and I won't let them fall apart. So that's me. So does anybody have any comments? Or I've been talking for 10 minutes now or something like that. Anybody have any questions or comments? This could easily be a discussion.
I just want to say, like, this is, I'll give you guys tools and technology. How about tone and temperature from Lyle? Like, this is why I call it a leadership ladder. That I really got a lot out of this, like more about tone and temperature. What is your value? That's really a lot of good nuggets there, Lyle. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
I have a question.
Sure.
So you said, again, I'm a newer agent. When going through, you're like, I'm going to go through this attorney review line by line with my clients, which I think is such a value add as an agent with all the paperwork. But what if there are things within the attorney review that I feel like are even over my head to understand?
Well, that's okay. That's why we have attorneys in Northern Illinois, and you can ask the attorney to explain it to you. You know what? Your attorney, you're having a pool of attorneys that you trust and who will I will not use. I have 3 attorneys that I've used for years. 2 of them have not signed up for our title company yet, so they're not getting any business. The third one is signed up for our title company, so he's getting all of my business. But he's also an outstanding attorney, and he understands the title process because he used to be the Berkshire Hathaway vice president of title. So if it's over your head, just ask.
Do we have any paperwork of common things that we see within attorney review that should be expected?
Yeah, we do. I wish I had that attorney review letter. Let me see if I have it up on my I do have it up on my Adobe. So,
oh, wonderful.
You can screen, by the way, Lyle.
What's that?
Share your screen if you want to, Lyle.
Yeah, I will. I just need to make sure that it's hidden. I mean, the person's name and digits are hidden. So I'll share my screen, which will be this one. All right. Can everybody see that?
No.
You cannot?
You're on.
Yes.
You can. Okay. So things that you will often see is seller, this phrase here that seller represents seller is not aware of any planned or contemplated special assessments. That's gonna be in every attorney review letter for a condo. Number 2, confirmation of increase in monthly assessments. That's going to be in almost every attorney review letter. Tax proration at 110%. 110% is very typical. There's no fast and hard rule. And like I said, if it gets your clients the thing, maybe you're going to go under. Transaction contingent upon the property appraising. That's always going to be in there. Notice by email shall be sufficient. Nick and I have both been in the business long enough that this used to say notice by fax shall be sufficient, because we used to fax contracts back and forth all the time. Claims on their home insurance, number 6, that's always going to be there. There's going to be something about purchaser's default in there 99% of the time. There's going to be something about updating the property disclosure. If you discovered something, then you have to tell somebody. So, everybody has a different philosophy on this, but I don't attend my inspections anymore if I can get away with it. And the reason I don't is I don't want to know what the inspector finds until we have an official ask from the other people, and then we'll deal with it then. So that's just a little aside. Some people don't believe in that. I mean, it's just like some people don't believe, like Marky, for example, doesn't believe in giving feedback after she shows a property because she doesn't. Yeah. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying that everybody does business a different way. Please confirm any major improvements were completed pursuant to local code. That's always going to be in there. Water infiltration, number 10, is always going to be in there. And broom clean, number 11, is always going to be in there. So this property, then we get into inspection issues. And this is all the things that are wrong with the property. And then they asked for a price reduction. Then the last part is the confirmations of what they want to know. Like here, they want to confirm that the windows are the association's responsibility, and they want to know who's responsible for repair and maintenance of the garage doors. Then they'll ask for the 22.1, 23, 24, and 25 budgets, meeting minutes from the last 12 months, and all the declarations and bylaws. And then they'll have 3 days to review them when they're done. So that's a very, very typical attorney review letter. That looks like 99% of the attorney review letters that you'll ever have. If it's a single family, it's going to mention a survey. You're probably going to have to get a water cert for a single family, so they're going to ask for that. So they vary, but that was an extremely typical attorney review letter.
That's fantastic. Anyway, you can email it to me.
If I can figure out how to redact all the personal information off of it, I could. I don't know if I can though, because I don't know if I have full Adobe anymore.
No problem. Thanks for sharing that, Lyle. I really appreciate it.
You are sure welcome.
You guys have this nice recording that you guys have this nice recording that you can play back later and review, because we did have the screen share. So I could redact it on the screen share. By the way, this Ask Us Anything at last week's, I really liked both of them. I think they may end up on a private YouTube channel, something private. Maybe so we can watch them again. Share with an agent friend.
We're having a little bit of trouble hearing you, Nick.
Yeah, Nick.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
A little bit better, yes, sir.
That's better.
Okay, thank you.
And I've always kept several attorneys in my bullpen, or the people I trust to do different deals. I have a short sale attorney, I have a high-end attorney, and I have a quote unquote FHA guru, if you will. I do that with my lenders, my home inspectors. You can build a bullpen and create more business by being an available agent who is your trusted guide. Just saying,
Yep.
not every deal is made for every service provider, but it's good to have a bullpen.
Correct. And you what and you know, you a lot of times want to match the attorney to the personality of your clients as well.
Absolutely. Some of them are a little bit too gruff for the Polly and Peter pretty pants out there. You know, if they're going to be a bull in the china shop, they're probably not the right match for you.
Well, I had a deal years ago with a couple, um, and I helped them buy a place down in like Halstead and Sangamon, and I guess that's University Village. And that it was one of my attorneys that I use all the time. They didn't like him. And I don't think he didn't really do anything wrong, but they just didn't like him. So when we went to sell that property and buy another one for them, they said, "We love you, but we don't want to use that attorney again." And I said, "No problem. I have another one in my pocket for you, and I think she'll be perfect." So,
You keep a deep bullpen. Absolutely.
yeah, you should always have, they always say that you should present people with three attorneys. And I will do that a lot of the time, but I'll put the three attorneys on there and I'll say, I think the best fit for you would probably be so and so.
Thank you. That's the right way to present it too.
And that way they have the option. They can call all three if they want to, but I will always tell them whom I think is the best option. And it's all, if you have attorneys in your pocket already that you love and you've worked with for years, get them signed up for our title company. I have been using our title company ever since I came to Exit, and every transaction has been perfect. So it's not, I mean, my previous brokerage had a title company that wasn't even sort of a real title company, and you could only use two attorneys, and like, one of them just screwed up everything. And I was like, well, I'm not doing that again.
And there's some title companies out there that do that too. Part of my bullpen is having the right title company for the right job.
Correct. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Anything else you want to talk about?
I just want to chime.
And there he goes.
Well, here's what I want to chime in with real quick, guys. Lyle was talking about being a trusted advisor. One of the great things you need to lean into or should lean into as a trusted advisor is RPR, Realtors Property Resource. The amount of information you can send a client about a property, a neighborhood, etc., as a trusted advisor, flood them with information. Really give them as much as you can to show your value. I really believe in RPR, Realtors Property Resource. It's a great data source. Lean into your vendors. Like I leaned into John and Colleen the other day with my friend Andrea when she was looking like, where can I strategically place blank, blank, blank. I'm starting to work with a couple friends that are in the wealth management side about putting together an event for wills, trusts, and estates to get that as a value proposition to say, hey, friends, I've sold you this property. Now let's think about the future. We don't want to be morbid, but what happens after someone passes? Really making sure that people have their affairs in order. That's the whole coaching the philosophy I have behind Project X is it's not just about real estate. It's health and wellness, personal finance, charity and community. And yes, of course, real estate. These all come together as your trusted advisor value proposition. You're not just there to sell them a home. You are there to help them build a better life. In my opinion.
They have to know that you care. And if you make it through the transaction with them, but they don't think you really cared about them, they're not going to come back. And as you grow and as you progress in your real estate career, people are going to come back to you, especially if you keep in touch with them and keep yourself in front of them. They will come back to you. My whole business, or at least 80% of it, is based on either referrals or previous clients who've come back to me, you know? And so, and I do want to, before, I know we only have a few minutes left, but while you have your pencils out, because I know that all of you have written down trusted advisor, skilled negotiator, and expert facilitator. Part of being a trusted advisor and part of being like, this goes across all of the things in the transaction. What do you say to your clients? What do you say to them when things aren't going right? Well, say the inspection didn't turn out very well. I like to say, you know what? This is a bump in the road. We will work through it. You have to be careful with this next one, because you can't ever use it in terms of compensation or something like that. But if somebody says, do people really do this? Then you can say, I've seen this, to be typical of a transaction. If you get an offer in that is what you might consider a lowball, do not say to your clients, we just got a lowball offer. Like, do not say that. You can do it in, I would suggest 2 different phrases depending on you're knowing your client and which one they would respond to. The first one is kind of sassy. It's from my friend Gwen Hughes at Berkshire Hathaway. And when she gets in a low offer for a property and her clients are a little upset, she just says, never be offended when somebody offers you money. And then sometimes you can diffuse the situation that way because that's kind of funny. Another word that I use all the time for a lot of different things, and I'll give you some examples, is modest. So you had an open house and 0 to 1 people came. Well, you just say to your clients, traffic at our open house was a bit more modest than we were hoping for. It's like, secret code for nobody came. Or if you get a lowball offer, you can say, we got an offer. It's a little bit more modest than we were hoping for, but it's a great point to start negotiating. So those are some phrases that I would recommend. Bump in the road, typical, I see this a lot, and modest. So those are your 3 words for the day and your 3 concepts for what you need to be to your clients. Anybody else have anything else they want to talk about?
Guys, this is awesome. Stay tuned, Stephanie, on the Wills Trust and session. That's going to be July. We're doing senior housing. So it's probably going to be August. You guys are all freaking amazing. Congratulations, Tabron. I know he's not on today, but he capped. So second capper of the year. We got more cappers to come. Nicole Wheatley, Jamal Green, Andy Rosali are stacked to be next, but sometimes somebody comes in with a big check and surprises us. Appreciate you all. We will see you all tomorrow. Special edition of accountability. We will be showing you just sold cards, some new techniques. Great session today, guys. Thank you, Lyle. Thank you, Dan. Thank you all. Bye-bye.
See you later.